Hey everybody, welcome back to Be Your Own QRF. I apologize for the little hiatus there. It's been probably 6 or 7 weeks since I launched the video. Between the weather here in Pennsylvania and everyone in my house getting sick, like 3 different viruses inside of 4 or 5 weeks, it's been pretty impossible to get out here. So to make up for it, I'm actually going to film 2 videos today. I'll launch one later today. I'll launch this one later today, and I'll probably put the other one up tomorrow. Today, we are going to do a review on one of the best millimeters. And if you're familiar with the term best millimeter, you know I'm talking about the 10 millimeter. Today I'm doing a review on the Smith Wesson M&P M2.0 10 millimeter. I only just threw the Holosun 507C X2 on here. I have not zeroed it yet. I did pair it with the iron sights though, so it should be pretty close to where it needs to be. So this one, I decided to go with the 4.6 inch barrel with no thumb safety. The thumb safeties on these guns tend to be rather large, and when I am shooting the M&P series with a thumb safety, my thumb sits on the top of it just a little bit too much to where it's actually rubbing on the slide. And if I try to correct that, I accidentally engage the safety while I'm shooting, and that's not what you need. Also have the Streamlight TLR-1 high lumen, 1000 lumen flashlight on there. Just need to order a holster for the whole rig, and then I'll be back to carrying this one when I'm out in the woods. So today, first thing we're going to do is I need to verify the zero on it. I need to make sure that I'm where I want to be at 25 yards. And after that, I'll test a couple of different rounds through it. I have had a couple of failures with this gun, with hollow points or with defensive or hunting ammunition, and I'm hoping that that's over. I have not done anything to it. Some people have been replacing magazine springs or recoil springs. I've had 2 failures out of about 200 rounds that I put through it, so I'm not too worried about replacing springs at this point. We'll just see how it goes. Maybe it needed a little bit of a break-in. The failures were with a 180 grain V-Crown from Sig Sauer, where the lip of the hollow point just barely caught the top of the chamber, and I mean just barely. That was one failure out of 15 rounds of that I test fired. The other one was Federal Fusion 200 grain soft point, where it was the same thing. The top of the round caught the top of the chamber as it was feeding in, and each time it's happened, it was the second to last round. All right, so again, M&P 2.0 10 millimeter, 4.6 inch, weapon is clear. A couple of pros and cons before I even start shooting here. Just like any other M&P pistol, these are very easy to adjust the grip size. They come with 4 interchangeable back straps. I went with the small, because even though I have large hands, I have short fingers. That's another thing is, for a 10 millimeter, this feels more like a 9 millimeter in my hand. The grip is actually quite slim for what it is. So, I really like Glock. I like Springfield XDMs. They're good pistols. The XDM also has a good slim grip, but if you want high capacity in the XDM, the grip is much, much larger. So far, this is my favorite of any striker fired 10 millimeter pistol. The Holosun 507C X2 is, it's got the solar backup, 50,000 hour battery life, and it's got a nice crisp 2 MOA dot. Let's see if I can, it's not going to look like a crisp 2 MOA dot. If I can do this here. It's not bad, actually. Usually a camera will make it look, it'll kind of distort it and make it look enormous. But you have the option of the 2 MOA dot, or, what is it, 35, 32 or 35 MOA ring, a circle, or a combination of both, where you have the ring and the dot. The ring's nice if you're just getting started with red dots, because it helps you pick up the center of your reticle much faster when you bring it up. All right, so we're going to go ahead and see where this is hidden at 25 yards. Got my Ear Pro in. Ear Pro is secure. Because this baby's loud. It's a 10 millimeter. All right. 25 yards. First shot with the Holosun on top. Whew, man, it's cold. It's shaking a lot more than I thought it was going to. So I'm just going to leave the camera there, so I don't have to be too embarrassed by you guys seeing this. It's not bad. I can tell I'm shaking. Fingers are freezing. Got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Could be a much tighter group, but looks like it's going to need to maybe adjust down a tiny bit and to the right a little. Might move the target stand up so I can sit at the bench and throw the sandbag underneath this thing. But we'll go ahead and do 5 more. And then we'll mark them, and maybe I'll shoot from the bench there. Weapons clear. Magazine's on the ground. All right, so I tightened that up as far as elevation goes. It's only about a 3-inch difference there from top to bottom, but they are still a little bit left, which tells me that when I first fired this gun, I was thinking that the rear sight was actually scooted a little bit left. You can actually tell by looking at it. And no, I'm not jerking the trigger. Every time I've shot this thing at anything past 10 yards, I could tell the group's a little bit left. So I am going to make an adjustment right. I can tell you that group's good enough to qualify in a law enforcement setting. But for what this pistol is with a red dot, I can do so much better than that. I know I can. All right, so today is cold. It was about 80 degrees just 4 days ago, and today it's I think it's right around 32, 33 degrees. We're getting a little bit of snow and rain here and there, but it's windy, and it's that damp wind. It's just cuts right down to the bone when it hits you. I'm usually not wearing a coat this heavy in April, but all right, 5 more rounds with an adjustment on the red dot. All right, here we go. I pulled that one. That was all me. Red dot's still tight. Oh yeah, I jerked that one big time. Two of them actually. I got 2 way over here. I jerked that trigger. I got 1 here and 2 right here. Looks like I got some work to do. So we're going to move back to the picnic table. So this is actually closer to 50 yards now, probably about 45 yards, but I needed some stability. All right, now let's see how this thing does. Woo! Talk about surprise break right there. All right. Weapons clear. All right, I'll take it with me this time. So, the M&P 2.0 10 millimeter has probably the nicest trigger that they've put in any of the full-size standard M&P pistols thus far. It I don't know, it's not that hinge trigger like all the other ones had. All right. Let's see. So new holes are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, this is not bad. I don't know if I pulled these two. Maybe those are those ones you can tell I kind of ripped the trigger a little faster in between shots. But yeah, I'm much happier with that. We'll probably do 5 more rounds just to verify that the 0 is good. All right, so 5 more rounds at about 40 or 45 yards. Not exactly sure on the distance. There we are. Weapons clear. Go back down range and check that out. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like this might be number 5 right here. Oh, no, number 5's right there. But still, 45 yards. You know, all within a couple inches of center. I'll take it. All right, so let's move over to the shoot house. I'll go ahead and set up some 3D silhouette targets, and we'll see how this thing runs in a little bit more of a faster paced environment. All right, so we are over here at the shoot house. I have some 3D targets set up. Obviously, I mean, I'm here by myself right now, which on that note, I am always extra careful. I make sure this never points anywhere. It never points at anything I'm not willing to destroy. My finger always stays off the trigger. If you ever catch me putting my finger in the trigger guard, feel free to point it out. So, I also carry a full trauma kit and first aid kit with me in case anything does go wrong. And I'm only a couple minutes from the hospital, and I have good cell service up here. So, if you're going to be doing this kind of stuff by yourself, make sure that you have all your bases covered as far as safety and first aid. Trauma kit's got tourniquet, hemostatic gauze, Israeli bandages, pretty much anything you might need. So right now, I'm not going to engage these guys. I was saying I'm here by myself, so it's not quite fair because I know where they're set up already. But right now, I'm just going to pick a tire on the hill back here to do some test runs. The couple failures I had, like I said earlier, were always on like the second to last round. So I'm just going to do 5 rounds each because, I mean, this stuff's not cheap. First, I'm going to fire 5 rounds of PMC Bronze 170 grain jacketed hollow point. It's the PMC Bronze Hunting. Guess I'm not allowed to show that, but you know what that sound was. I've had 0 malfunctions with this round so far. Nice and smooth. All right. So next up is the Federal 200 grain Fusion soft point. They call it a soft point because the jacket does not go the whole way over the tip, but it is also more of a hollow point. And this is a nice stout round. It's 200 grain. I don't have the box anymore, but I think it advertised it at 1200 or 1250 feet per second. So it's a decent hot round for 200 grain. And let's see how this goes. I'm actually going to, I prefer actually pulling the slide back and letting it go. That way it's got that full run. It can charge the pistol, but let's see if it'll chamber with just the slide release. All right, 5 rounds, 200 grain, Federal Fusion, soft point, bonded soft point, I should say. It's a good round if you're out hunting with a 10mm revolver or something, or if you're in a state where you can hunt with this. Whew. That's hot. Love it. All right. The last round I'm going to test fire. This is the one that I want to run flawlessly in this gun because this is my preferred defensive round out of a 10mm if I'm defending myself against other 2-legged threats. So this is the 180 grain Sig Sauer V-Crown. And this is a good hot round. Sig Sauer with their elite line, they know what they're doing. All right, 5 rounds, 180 grain, Sig Sauer V-Crown. All right, please do not jam. Woo! Hot. Oh, God, I love how hot that round is. All right, no malfunctions. And the real pain in the butt is I'm going to probably want to do another 50 rounds of that through this before I decide to start carrying this with that round and make sure I have no more malfunctions. This stuff's not cheap. Yeah, it's $20 to $30 a box, depending on where you find it. So I'm not looking forward, well, I am looking forward to test firing it because it's fun. But I'm not looking forward to having to spend the money on all that extra ammo. And I don't know if you noticed, even with those hotter rounds, not once did I have to reposition my grip on this gun. That's another pro to the M&P 2.0. It has a very aggressive grip texture. I don't know if you can see the texture pattern on my hand where that was digging in. It's noticeable. I can feel that digging in, but it's not so uncomfortable that I want to stop shooting it. That's the big thing. Some people don't like it. My wife, the moment she put this in her hand, whenever I ordered it in, she grabbed onto it, goes, She wanted nothing to do with this texture. It's not for everybody. But if you're shooting a good, powerful handgun, you want it to stay where you need it. So, I mean, this texture's so much to the point where if someone came up and grabbed onto this gun to try to get it out of my hand, so long as my fingers stay strong, they're not getting this out of my hand. All right, so now I'm going to do my little shoot house thing here. even though it is bright out, when I do engage a target, I'm going to probably use my flashlight, and that's just for training purposes. That's to get in the habit of turning it on. If you're not familiar with the Streamlight TLR-1, this is on. You just push this down. You have a momentary where you can either lift this up, which that's really weird, or with your support thumb, come over here. The magazine's loaded, chamber's not. With your support thumb, you can come down and you have a momentary switch. If you turn the power onto it 2 times rapidly, you do get the strobe, which at 1000 lumens, it doesn't even need to be pointed at you. It can be very disorienting. So I'm going to do this little shoot house scenario now. I got 5 targets. It is hard to set this thing up to where I can't see them until I hit certain points. But I do not want to engage these targets back here until I've cleared this corner. When I come around right here, I can see the 2 targets in the back. Then I got to take another step and I can see this guy way back here. But all right, let's do it. I got 15 rounds of Cellular and Bellet, or however you say it. Cellular and Bellet, 180 grain FMJ. Say, you can't see me, but I can see you. Malfunction. Index. Woo. I did not feel that malfunction, but I get to review this video and see if I jerk the trigger and dip the muzzle of the gun down when I was still trying to engage. So that is the first failure to feed I have had with the Cellular and Bellet. That makes failure number 3 out of approximately, I don't know, I'm up to 230 rounds that I fired now. All right, let's take a look. So, first guy I engaged from this post right here. Let me fold this up so I don't have to tip it. So this guy caught 2 to the chest. Came over here, fired 2. Very good shot placement. I stepped here. Let me do this first person. Keep going. So I came walking up through here. Once I saw him, I engaged with 2 rounds. And I stepped forward, engaged him, suffered a malfunction, came walking out here. Once I got here to engage this guy, I noticed my malfunction. I think I was a little closer over here. Cleared the malfunction with a tap and rack. Stepped over, engaged the second target with 2 or 3 rounds. I'm not sure. Turned. This guy was already staring at me for a good chunk of time, which is not good for me. So like once I stepped out here to see this guy could also see me. Took me a moment or 2 longer to engage that last target than I would have liked. All right, so that's going to wrap up our review of the Smith Wesson M&P 10mm. I'm having some camera issues. It kept cutting out, so there were some segments that I was wanting to get in there, but I already shot the ammunition after the camera shot off. So yeah, you don't get to see that today. That's just up here for me to remember. All the targets are dead. And I've burnt through more rounds than I probably should have. I probably shot twice as much off camera as I did on camera. And this review has gone on long enough already. Until next time, I want you to practice well, practice hard, and practice safe. Take care.